Good morning. Good Saturday morning. Glad to have you with us. Sports Talk for the next couple hours. Brett on the keyboard this morning.
Who's on drums?
That'd be you.
Oh.
Didn't even know it.
Yeah.
Just sitting here trying to think of where to start. Good morning, Mike Painter. Mike is up and at 'em early this morning. He says, good morning, STG. Sorry I missed y'all this morning. I was in class all week, so I'm off today. Hey, enjoy your day off.
Must be working on one of those advanced certificates.
I'll leave that between you and Mike. I'm not sure. Mike and Mike. I was trying to find what the temperature is this morning. It felt a little chilly. This
40s.
morning. You know what I've noticed this year more than ever, and maybe I've just not paid attention to it. The wind does blow every day in March, and it blows pretty heavy, it seems like, every day in March. 41 degrees and sunny today. My forecast on the phone here has been added a rain day on Monday. Didn't have that on there before, but now it says 50% chance of rain on Monday, but it continues to go back and forth. We could start in college basketball. We can start with any free agency in the NFL. Anybody that's been picked up. I don't think much happened though over the last 7 days in the NFL. The biggest news is Aaron Rodgers is still not with the team, right? High school sports. We could talk about high school sports as well as state championships. Good morning, says Ned to everybody. High school championships last week. Brett sent me an interesting stat last week, and Brett, I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you to explain it. I hear noise. Do y'all hear noise in your headset or something? Is that over there, Lanny? Oh.
No, that's from Pink Floyd. Lunatic is in your head.
The lunatic is in my head?
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean I am the lunatic? Which would make more sense. Also, Monty says, good morning, gentlemen. Jekyll and Hyde Heels showed up again this week.
Yeah.
We are going to get into that. But, Brett, the stat I wanted you to tell me was you sent me last week, and this was before, I think, the title game in the 2A boys. The record of Reidsville in basketball since Neal and Harrison have been on that team was what? Because this is mind-blowing right here. Do you remember?
What? No.
You don't?
No, I don't remember. I'm trying to find the text.
Oh.
No, how would I just remember that?
Well, in 3 years they have one loss. And they avenged that loss. That loss was to Farmville Central. Say it again, Lenny.
Must have been about 89-1 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, 86-1.
86-1
in basketball,
and they lost to Farmville Central in a Christmas tournament, and later beat them in the state championship game. That was last year when that happened, right?
No. Last year they were undefeated.
Okay.
Because they're on a 60-game winning streak right now. 60.
I don't think that mic's working, Lenny.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've won 60 in a row. Their last loss was in the state championship game 2 years ago to Farmville Central.
So one loss, and so they didn't play Farmville again that year, or did they?
I guess not.
Okay, because I don't remember who they beat in the championship game that year. But to be
no, that was it. That was the championship game 2 years ago. They lost to Farmville.
Okay. So 1 year they didn't lose. Go ahead, Lenny, test it out. No.
1, 2, 3.
Mike, test yours.
Testing.
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Got Mike on Mike, but no Lenny on Mike. So
Mike on Mike.
We'll have to see.
And then I also included their football record.
Yes, the football record is
which is 40-4.
And some of those losses were to 4As, were they not?
Yeah, maybe.
if I'm not mistaken, maybe like a Greensboro Page or somebody like that along the way that they played.
Yeah. Well, East Rutherford was one.
Yep.
East Duplin.
Yeah, we
was
saw
one.
the East Duplin
Yeah.
game. We saw them lose that one down in.
So
down
they've
in
won
Chapel
one
Hill.
state title in football and 2 in basketball out of 6 total chances.
And they've got another year.
Yeah, they're 126-5 right now.
And if you want-
between football and basketball.
If you want to know how dedicated those kids are to playing for Reidsville, Brett and I read this or saw this or something, the stat, when they were the COVID year, when they were in the what grade? They'd have been in the 8th. The 8th grade, they didn't get to have their athletics year, okay? So they reclassified so they could come back and play middle school one more year. And now look at them. Neil was the Gatorade State Player of the Year named this week. That's the best player in the state, period, regardless of classification. And Harrison, of course, the number 1 football prospect out of North Carolina, who's committed to Oregon but will still be going to Chapel Hill. In my opinion, he'll still be going to Chapel Hill when the time comes to play for Bill Belichick.
Well, isn't there one consolation that
Now Mike's mic is off.
this is the one
There it is.
consolation that they won't be in the
Try it,
West?
Lanny.
Can you hear me now?
Everybody. Say it one more time, Mike. I'm
no,
sorry.
isn't the one consolation we in the West have is that they're going to be in the East region
Yes.
next
Yes.
year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's not automatic. I mean, if every team in the East qualified for the playoffs, it would probably push them to the West. But the way it looks, there's way more 4A schools in the western part of North Carolina than there are in the eastern part of North
Right.
Carolina. So it would appear that on a typical
I just wonder
year,
if that's going to be predetermined.
I don't know.
Who's
You know,
east
it
and who's,
is right
who's
now.
west. Yeah.
I don't know if they'll do that or not.
But back when we had
this way.
the small and large
longitude
split, it wasn't predetermined then. You waited to see
and
what
Reeds will
teams
bounce
qualified.
back and forth.
Yeah.
Reeds will be east some years and west some years, but yeah, they should be in the, because I looked and there's like maybe 25 schools the other way, east of Reidsville, east of Greensboro, that are going to be in that classification, and then all the rest of them are on this side over here. You know, maybe 35 or 45 on this side over here. It will not hurt the school's feelings like Bandy's, Maiden,
No,
some of those schools that are going to be in the same classification as Reidsville.
if they go east.
To only see, yeah, let them go east, right? And that way, if you do happen to face them, guess where you are? You're in the state
You're in the
championship.
finals.
Yeah, you're in the
Yeah.
state championship game. So that would be a little better along the way. But just what they've done as a high school athletic program over the last 3 years, it's been good, pretty good, for a long time. But these last 3 years with those two guys, what's Neil's first name? Deontay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Deontay.
How about
Neal.
the Lake Norman girls? What a
Okay.
year.
Undefeated?
I believe so.
I think, did they lose one? Maybe an out-of-state
Could have
game
been
or
out of
something?
state.
Well, I mean, we I don't have them right in front of me. Brett probably.
Yeah,
did
they
them
went
off
30
by
and 1.
memory, but 30 and 1.
Yeah.
Yep,
But we
30.
need to at least mention all of the state championship winners. I think the one that was the most exciting and the one that everybody wanted to see win was the Cherokee girls.
Yeah. They just blitzed the field.
They did. And the best part about the Cherokee girls was the warm-up shirts that Brett told me I needed to look at.
No, I
and
didn't
see.
say they were warm-up shirts.
Are they
I
not?
just said there were fans that had them
Oh,
on.
okay. I thought the kids had them on.
Nah. They might have. I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't see them warming up.
The fans should wear them. I don't know if it'd be allowed. Have you heard about the shirts
I
there?
heard you talking about them last
there,
week.
Lenny? It was raised, not recruited. And
All right.
that's pretty powerful.
That's a powerful message.
It is. And I have an idea who's directed at, but we'll leave that be. But I love that. But the Cherokee girls, Lake Norman girls, help me, Brett. Who's the other girl champs?
Southeast Alamettes 1-2A.
Now tell us the story about them.
They're a second-year school, not just a second-year basketball program, but a second-year school
Right.
with
Wow.
no seniors.
No seniors
Wow.
winning the state as a second-year high
Now,
school.
they do have seniors at the school, but
Mhm.
no seniors on that girls' basketball team.
Now, who was it? Which was the team that blitzed Stuart Kramer in 3A? Western.
That was an Alamance
Alamance.
too, wasn't it?
The
Western
Western
It
Alamance.
was
Alamance.
Western
Yeah.
Alamance. So Alamance County had two girls state champs, right?
Wow.
Yeah, that's impressive as well. The boys.
I think we got one more thing, David.
Yeah.
I'm going to give hats off to the North Lincoln
Sure.
girls. This is a team with
the run they made.
3 sophomores and a
Mhm.
freshman in the starting lineup, so you know they're going to be back. They got a couple more years maybe
Mhm.
to make a run at it.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And you know, with what they just did, Mike, you would think they'd be the favorite next
Yeah,
year.
you almost would. I don't
you
know what Stuart
well-
Kramer's got coming back. I know they got the one girl who's really good.
As long as they all stay
got
together.
They got
you
a
know,
6'2" sophomore too.
Do
Do they?
Center.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was a sophomore this year.
Yeah, that's
I
the
don't know
one.
how. I think she's second leading scorer. That's all.
It's one thing North
Mm.
doesn't have yet. They need a big girl inside, but
But
they
now
got a
they
lot of other good pieces.
They lost a white kid can shoot outside. She was a senior for Stuart Kramer.
I think she's the one that really killed North Lincoln in that Final Four game.
So the girl you're talking about, you're telling me about how tall did you say she is?
6'2".
And she did not play varsity this year?
Yeah, she did.
She
was-
did, okay.
She was a
Okay.
sophomore. She is will be a rising junior.
Okay.
Yeah, she was the center on the.
Right.
Yeah, they definitely
But
deserve
the, but the big star was
credit.
the rising senior. The
Yeah. And
Holland.
she's already announced for Wake, I believe.
what I had
saw
heard,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know what that really means. But,
right as a junior. That
Mhm.
could
That could
change.
change.
on the boys' side, I kind of like what I saw there in 4A with North Mech winning
Yeah.
back-to-back because if you think about it, in the last 30 years, all the new schools that have come along in Charlotte, they've been winning, you know.
Change them out.
But North Mac, you know, I mean, back-to-back state championships in 4A, beating New Hanover, right? And that's
Yep.
the team that has the most state championships in basketball in the state of North Carolina, and they beat them twice in the finals, back-to-back years in the finals. So,
North Mech guard Chadlin Traylor won his third state title. As a freshman, he was a starter on the West Charlotte team
Wow.
that won it. Then he moved to North Mech for his last 3 years. So three state titles for
three
him, and
straight
he's
titles.
committed to, or maybe signed with College of Charleston.
okay.
Hmm.
And his name again is
Chadlin Traylor.
Chadlin Traylor. And, of course, the one that plays at Duke was on the championship game last year.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah.
His name is
Isaiah Evans.
Yeah.
Isaiah Evans. So.
Is the trailer kid black or white?
Black.
The reason I was curious because there's a guy that played South Carolina many years ago. He is a trailer, but
Oh,
he was white. That was the reason.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we remember Tractor Trailer.
Tractor Trailer.
from Michigan.
too.
Tractor trailer.
This guy played back years ago, South Carolina, when Frank McGuire was a Danny Trailer, I believe his name.
Not Danny Trejo. Tractor Trailer, that made me think. Wonder why he had that nickname. He was a big human being, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Good trivia question there would be, what was his real first name? Because I never heard him called anything else than Tractor.
Was it Robert? Rob?
I believe-
I think it's Robert.
I believe you're
Robert
correct.
Trailer.
Robert
Did good.
Trailer, I
Y'all
believe.
did good, yeah. Now that you said that, I guess I do remember hearing that name a time or two. But Brett, you got to help me now. We drop down and go to 3A, the 3A men's state champions.
Ben Smith out
Ben
of
L.
Greensboro.
Smith. Ben L. Smith. Had boys and girls both go deep. Did they not? The girls did the girls?
Didn't North Lincoln knock them out?
I think so. I think
third
so.
or fourth round, maybe.
Yeah. Yep. And Ben L. Smith beat.
Southern Durham. That was a real good game.
Yeah, this is the school that now has the 5-word name.
Yeah,
Southern Durham High School.
Southern School of Energy and Sustainability.
Yeah, that's a lot to put on a jersey.
Yeah.
So they just
Yeah, their jerseys just say Southern. That's it.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That one was 64-62. That was one of the best games of the whole week.
Right. Right.
Well, guys, have we really kind of seen the end of East Burke's run? I know the guard, she graduates, right? I can't think of her name.
They'll have a good team.
Okay, but not.
No, it's
Right.
I mean, the other girl's got another year. The big girl.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
But it won't be the run.
She'll be hard to replace.
Yes.
Oh,
There's no
yeah.
doubt
Yes.
she'll be hard to replace. Again, names.
Braylon Stillwell.
Stillwell. Yep, Stillwell. She will be hard to play. Had 4 phenomenal years
Mhm.
for East Burke. The 2A champion was
Reedsville.
Reedsville, of course.
And
I
they
had
beat,
girls on my mind.
Northwood, I
Mhm.
think, ended up being 15 or so, maybe 20.
Yeah. Well, the beat goes on with Reedsville. I mean, you know, Salisbury was pretty good, and they played Reedsville, you know, a decent game.
That was their closest game in the playoffs.
Yeah. Salisbury had some athletes,
Yeah, they did.
especially the big guy that played inside for them. I don't know where those kids are going to play. Probably had a couple guys on that team.
I can't think of his
The
name
guard
right
that
now.
took over in the
Yeah, the guard was a
quarter against
junior.
Langston,
Yeah.
and then the
Now,
the
you know,
big
I
guy.
think his name was Smith
He
as
he
well.
was a Smith, I think.
Yeah.
Remember, y'all kept saying
Mhm.
Smith on the radio.
yeah, it seems like
Well, they did have 2 Smiths, but I don't think the guard was Taylor.
the guard was
Braylon Taylor.
and the big guy was Smith.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Miles
Yeah.
Smith.
Miles Smith.
Yeah, both
That's who I'm
teams.
thinking
Both
of.
teams actually had 2 Smiths.
And he was a big guy for their team. He's not really
Right.
not really.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like a 6'5"
Yeah, he's
wing. Really,
Right.
he
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
he was the tallest guy for Salisbury.
Well, he could probably jump higher than anybody else I saw in that gym on that particular night. He could get up. Had quick bounce to him too. He could get off the floor very
Yeah.
quick. But yeah, congratulations to Reedsville there. And then the 1A boys was
Corvian.
Corvian winning football and basketball.
No, they didn't win football.
They lost. That's right. They were
Tarboro
there.
beat
They
them.
were there. They were in the championship, and this school isn't but
Yeah, how
3 or
old's
4
this
years
school?
old. It can't be too old as far as athletics go, anyway. Because you know they're not in the Lincoln Charter Conference though. They're in the one.
Yeah.
Oh, are they in the Lincoln Charter Conference? I couldn't remember if they were in that one or in the Huntersville. The one that's
They are.
'cause they are in Huntersville.
They won the regular season, and then Pine Lake Prep won that conference tournament.
So Pine Lake Prep. Pine Lake had
And
a
then
good
that-
team too.
So
A really good team.
Corvian beat Southern Wake Academy in overtime in the championship.
Yep. So you got Corvian Academy. Is that what it's called? Or is it-
Corvian Community.
Community.
Yeah, and they split
And-
with Lincoln Charter this year.
And Wake Academy. When will it be? When will we decide? When will the state decide to split the charters and privates?
And
from-
Corvian
from
played
the publics?
Reedsville to a 7-point game in January. They played Reedsville in just a non-conference game.
Right.
Now there's charter, right?
Corvian, yes.
Okay.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. It's the second part of that name is community. So that
A large community, probably.
yeah, probably a large community. That's right. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. But hey, you know, they had some athletes because I watched them play in that football game.
So this was
It
their
was on
6th
TV.
year playing basketball.
Okay.
So I guess the school's been around at least that long.
Yeah, probably went a year or so without sports. I mean, that's the way it happens a lot because, you know, I'm guessing when you start a school like that, you don't have
I'm kind of like you.
a full capacity.
Football-wise, I can't remember but 2 years.
Yeah.
So maybe that's second or third year.
And that's what I mean. That Southeast Alamance, that school actually opened in the fall of 23,
Mm.
and they've already got a state title.
Got a banner to
And
hang.
you remember they were the ones I sent you their records since they've opened in football, basketball, baseball. I mean, they're really good
Everything.
at everything.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. It makes you wonder. I mean, you know,
Maybe they're getting some of Eastern Alamance's best
yeah.
athletes.
And Western's had good history as well.
Yeah.
That's another one of the counties with all directional schools.
Yeah.
So,
And
not
there
quite
is
as
a,
bad
is
as
there,
Guilford.
there's a Southern Alamance, isn't
Yeah,
there?
yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a Southern, but not a Northern that I know of.
And then Cummings and
Cummings, is
Williams.
there. Yep, The Burlington schools are there. Yes, they are. Crowded county. Crowded county, because I don't think the county's very big, geographically, is it? I mean, it doesn't, maybe it is, I don't know. But
No, it's right there in that Research Triangle
Yeah.
area. That's what.
Yep. I mean, you're in between Greensboro and Raleigh, so, Guilford's the one that gets me, though, with the directions. Eventually, they're going to have 3 words before the direction on some of these schools, north to northeast.
There's also Graham. Graham is in Alamance.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the other good run in the area, Bandy's boys, right?
Absolutely.
Won 4 games? 3 games? Can't remember.
4.
4.
Yeah, you had to win 4 to get to.
to get to the get to
Winston-Salem.
Winston-Salem.
Yep. That was very impressive, no doubt about it. I'm just going to be honest. I heard people say, well, look at the bracket they got compared to the bracket that the other schools in the conference were on. Yeah, but guess what? In 5 years, all you're going to remember is Bandy's went to the regionals.
To the regionals.
That's all you got. That's all you're going to remember. The Bandy's boys made it to the regionals,
Yeah.
and they could only beat who was in front of
That's
them.
like that's exactly what you just said. They didn't choose the bracket.
That's
they
right.
It wasn't on them. I mean.
Yep. They can only
I
beat the
agree what
teams
you
that were
said,
put in
though,
front of
earlier.
them. Well, it just happened that way, and that's the way it's going to work
And
now.
I'd say-
With it just showed how good the conference was, though.
True.
In basketball.
Years from now, if you go back and look, and you see they beat Forest Hills and Shelby and Lincoln Charter.
That's pretty stout.
Yeah, I mean that's
that's
As
pretty
far as
impressive.
programs go,
right.
they beat 3 really good programs. They really did. They beat three really good programs.
Yeah, did you say Shelby? Yeah, of course they beat Shelby.
Mm-hmm. He did. And Shelby, while they may not have been the basketball team that they usually are, I look for them to bounce back, don't you?
They eliminated.
Yeah.
They eliminated Burns and Shelby.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
athletes are going to stop.
No.
Yeah, I didn't even think I forgot. I think I forgot about them beating Burns along the way too. So who were the 4 again?
Burns, Forest Hills, Shelby, and Lincoln Charter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's 4 pretty good programs, good wins to hang your hat on, especially for those seniors that were.
Now, is
and
that
I
a
don't know how many they had.
senior-dominated
I don't know.
Yeah,
Is it?
yeah,
The big boy's a senior.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
the 6'9" kid.
Vaughn.
Landon Vaughn. Yeah, he's a senior.
Okay. But a lot of people. It's been a while around here, but a lot of people. The 3 on this side of the table this morning remember when Bandy's used to be a power in boys and girls basketball for a long time. They were they mini state championships.
Oh,
Yeah.
The days of Vernon Odom and
Yeah,
coaches
amazing
like
accomplishment
Bill
there.
Bost.
McLeave, what was
Yeah,
McLeave?
James
McLeave.
It looks like 4 of their 5 starters
Odom,
are seniors.
Yeah.
Vernon's brother.
Mike Matheson, coach.
Yep.
What was amazing about those teams for a while, their boss coached them both.
Yes, he did.
Girls
Yeah.
and them. That's almost
Bill Boss.
Amazing.
Yeah, coached them both.
Coaching both teams. That was.
I'm trying to remember other coaches who coached both. I know Mike Carroll at East Lincoln coached both.
He said Compass is what Lanny.
I don't remember Copus coaching
I didn't
both.
remember either, but
Joey Copas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a great person though.
Oh, yeah, he was.
Great person. I had a conversation with Lavelle Hall about him just a couple days ago about old Jerry Copus, and they had a funny moment one time after a basketball game. That I'll tell you off the air.
Mm-hmm.
He was where? Ford?
forward.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's for
Fred
many
T.
years.
Ford.
Let's
Maybe
don't forget his 1 year at West Lincoln.
the
though.
face of Fred T. Ford.
Right,
I would
Lenny?
say for a long
Right.
time in
Correct.
the 70s and 80s, he was probably the face of Fred T. Ford.
I want to say his 1 year at West, they were like, 9 and 12, something like
Something
that.
like that, right, yeah.
And they had one guy emerge to be a great shooter, a kid named Dwayne Ayers. Remember him?
Sure, yes.
No, I have to say no on my end. I don't remember. I always remember though that they had shooters.
Yeah.
They had guards that could shoot the ball. They just always did every single year.
Yeah.
And I remember a time when I thought that gym up at Fred T. Ford was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Compared to some of the others,
Right,
it's got
yes.
that extra
Section
section. Where
up there, yeah.
but it's really not that huge. It's
Hey, you thought you were walking in the old Charlotte Coliseum when
Yep.
you walked in there at that time.
Yep,
Because
that's
that was
right.
our comparison. So
That's right.
when we say the old, we're talking about the Chrome
Hey.
Dome old.
Any high school gym you went in that had a rail between sections,
Yeah.
it seemed like it was bigger.
Sure.
You know,
And didn't Newton Conover have?
they still do.
that too?
They still do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thought
And
so.
it is a little bigger than that.
Yeah,
one.
a little bit.
Newton's is a little bigger than that one though. Seats a good many people, but those were some. Yeah, we took a ride back to the glory days. Who's got lyrics ready this morning? I haven't got mine.
I'm ready.
You want to do yours first this morning,
Sure.
Brad?
Yeah, because you
Well,
ain't.
Do them. We'll take our
might as
first
well,
time
'cause
out.
Mine's a stumper.
A stumper. Is that the name of the group?
Nope.
Stumper.
Is that a hint?
Well, I'm still thinking about two. I think I'm going to go with the harder one now.
Okay. Go ahead, Brett.
The tax man's taking all my dough.
Mm.
Hmm.
We'll be back in a moment.
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving.
If you ask around, you'll find
Getting the kids to practice on time. Remembering if it's your day to bring snacks. Making it to the game with a clean jersey. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like whether your kid is going to run toward first or third base. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com.
Make 2025 the year you move into your new home from Key Builders of Lincoln. Let Key Builders help you make your dream home a reality and do it this year. Visit them online at keybuildersnc.com and check out their photo galleries. They are a licensed general contractor with over 20 years of building history and experience. Make 2025 the year of your new home. See your dream come true at Key Builders, 1459 North Aspen Street in Lincoln. Like them on Facebook too.
For where two or three have gathered together in my name, I am there in their midst. Matthew 18:20. You are invited to gather with us at Rhine Heights Methodist Church, located at 520 Madison Street, just up from Betty Ross Park. Sunday school meets at 10 and worship follows at 11 every Sunday. Follow us on Facebook for special service announcements. Join us Sunday at Rhine Heights Methodist Church.
Buying a Bobcat is now easier than ever at West End Sales in Vail. Now get 0% APR financing. That means low monthly payments. Or you can get $1,200 instant rebates on selected models. Now is the time to buy. Like we said, it's easier than ever. Again, get 0% APR financing or get $1,200 instant rebate on selected Bobcat models at West End Sales at the Highway 1827 West intersection in Vail. Online at westendsales.com and like them on Facebook too.
For where two or three have gathered together in my name, I am there in their midst. Matthew 18:20. You are invited to gather with us at Rhine Heights Methodist Church, located at 520 Madison Street, just up from Betty Ross Park. Sunday school meets at 10 and worship follows at 11 every Sunday. Follow us on Facebook for special service announcements. Join us Sunday at Rhine Heights Methodist Church.
Buying a Bobcat is now easier than ever at West End Sales in Vail. Now get 0% APR financing. That means low monthly payments. Or you can get $1,200 instant rebates on selected models. Now is the time to buy. Like we said, it's easier than ever. Again, get 0% APR financing or get $1,200 instant rebate on selected Bobcat models at West End Sales at the Highway 1827 West intersection in Vail. Online at westendsales.com and like them on Facebook too.
Welcome back. Brett's lyrics are a little tough. I don't see any correct answers
I know. I think it's one of two groups, though.
All right, give
Either
the
Who or the Stones.
give them one more time, Brett. The two lines.
The tax man's taken all my dough and left me in my stately home.
Is it a group, Brett?
It is a group.
It is a group.
It's not one of Mike's choices.
Not the
guesses.
Stones or the Who. Okay.
And I have nothing lighting up as far as guesses from the audience
I'm
this
not giving
morning.
up yet.
Nothing. No, we can think about it a little while. We
Yeah.
don't have to give another one for
No.
about 20 minutes or so. So
Hmm.
we're good to think about it. And then we may even go with a third line.
Third line's got the title.
Oh, well.
I can give you the next word, and that could help.
It could be the Animals, but no. I keep thinking on it.
It could be a lot of people.
Yeah, it
Mike.
could be a lot of people. British invasion. Yeah, 60s.
Oh, man. NCAA basketball at the height of the season right here. Let's see, what have we had? One round, basically, in the books. Of course, Carolina fans don't want to say one round in the books because they
did win one.
They won a game, that's right.
I got to ask Lenny, though, as a Carolina fan, did those two games encapsulate Carolina's season, you think? I mean,
well,
one good performance,
thought-
they shoot the eyes out of it. And then the second game, they don't play any defense
No
in the
defense.
first half.
The first half. I thought it was a carbon. To me, it looked like a carbon copy of the Duke game.
Yeah.
Just a week before.
It was.
Yeah,
it was pretty close.
It
Yeah.
was. I was there watching about 8-minute mark. Then we was down about 10, 11. And I said, this next 6 minutes, if we can just stay within around that range, we'll play better in the second half.
Yeah.
And that last 5-6 minutes, they played about like he did against Duke.
That's right.
It went from 12 to 20. And so that's just a story of their year, really.
Yeah. Jekyll and Hyde.
And it's inexcusable.
Yeah, it
if you
is.
can play hard, as they played numerous games in the second half to catch up, expending energy, then you should be capable of doing that in the first half. I mean,
Yep. Kenny Smith surprised me this week. He said something nice about Duke for the first time, I think, in his
career as
in his life.
In his life.
He was bragging on Cooper.
Yeah.
A little bit, but he said that Carolina's guards were good, but they were so small that
was the base.
when you need a bucket, did you hear him say that?
Yeah, I
when you
did.
need a bucket, a lot of times you could go to a guard and he could take it inside and score. He said their guards can't go inside unless it's on a fast break. You know,
Right.
they can't get in the
But
paint.
then you got another guy, Seth Trimble. He's not very big either, right, Lenny? I
he's a
mean,
little
not-
bigger than them. But
Just
he-
a little
but
bit,
he's playing. If he was playing point guard, it'd be different.
Right.
Most time he's playing the three.
Yeah, he's a
They're
wing.
doing the three, you know,
Well,
which is undersized.
A smallish team.
See, Lanny.
Yeah, they had a very small lineup
Yes.
compared to a typical Carolina team. Small guards and, undersized big men, too.
I'm going to get something off my chest because one thing bothered me this week. We talked last week. Did you think they deserved to get in or not?
Well, we talked about this last week. The eye test, they look like an NCAA
Right,
team.
right.
To me, I won't say.
But
I guess I'm a
resume-
Carolina fan, and I say yes, they should have been in.
Right.
But at the same time, I didn't think they would. Both of you said like you thought they would, but I really didn't feel. I mean, I was almost shocked Sunday.
Well,
when
I'll
they
tell you
popped
what.
up.
After I heard the criteria and how it went, and when I said I thought they'd get in, I hate to say this, Lenny. When I said I thought they'd get in, I didn't know Bubba Cunningham was the chairman
yeah.
of the committee.
Yeah.
Well,
Will
I
they
knew he
ever
was on-
let a committee? Will they ever let an? Is he the athletic director?
Yes.
AD.
Will they ever let an AD be the chairman of the committee again? I mean, this is going to hurt it.
Yes, probably.
You know, I mean, because
Well,
there's a lot of schools that didn't get in
a
and
lot
are
of-
blaming that
they
for
they
being
claim
the
that-
reason.
They claim, that he's not involved on, he leaves the room
Mm-hmm.
when that's decided. But the optics, you're still working for that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole
You think
you've
about
been working
him.
on that
Well,
guy
He's got a
for
presence.
weeks. So
Yeah.
even though he's not in the room, he still has to have influence.
And my opinion is on that, Lenny, is if if I can't be in the room and you're my friend and you owe me one, I'm gonna wink at you as I walk out the door and say,
"You're right.
Take care of me."
It was not a good.
I'm not saying that happened, but that's the perception.
Well,
right
it don't
now
look good.
No,
it's the perception of West Virginia right now and Indiana and some of those schools. I don't know what their resume was because theirs haven't been put up there like Carolina's has.
Well, I know Indiana had 4 quad 1 wins, I believe.
But the part that bothers me the most was as when Carolina won a game and they said, that's for all those people that said we shouldn't be in. And that has nothing to do with being in.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they'd win more than one game.
I thought they would too.
There's 25 other teams out there that didn't get in that could win 1 or 2 games.
Yep.
Because usually you're going to get set up with a mid-major in the first round. You know what I mean? I mean,
San Diego State. They looked awful. I went back I went back and looked at their schedule, and they had some impressive wins this year, which is why they got in.
I was expecting to see San Diego State of how many years ago was that?
2 years ago.
I thought, this might be a bad matchup for Carolina, but they didn't have a team like that.
No.
They beat Houston this year. San Diego State did.
They were not prepared.
They beat Creighton.
Carolina's speed.
Yeah.
I don't know
No, they
what
weren't.
they didn't guard the perimeter.
Carolina
They were
was,
just terrible.
Carolina was clearly better than that team. That's not the question. But I'm guessing they won their tournament and they got an automatic bid. Is that
No.
They were at large.
They went out early.
Ooh.
Yeah, they don't put automatics in that.
They don't do that anymore.
Not the 11. Not the 11 seed.
Wasn't Colorado State who won last night? They won the tournament, I think, in that conference.
Yeah,
Colorado State did.
Yeah,
and they did win, right?
They did win.
Yeah, they looked pretty good. I thought
they won, and San Diego State beat them once this year.
Yeah, it's hard to figure.
I thought Carolina would beat Mississippi.
I thought they would too,
and I actually thought they would make it till they played.
And I thought they sit in a good bracket because Iowa State is missing that Gilbert for the year. I mean,
but they looked awfully good.
In my bracket, I had them losing to Michigan State. Of course, that bracket can be destroyed right now.
I had to tear that one up.
And it's not because of Carolina that it could be destroyed. It's because of Clemson. That I had Clemson going to the Elite Eight again, and they actually just made it to the Elite 64.
They were beyond bad in the first half.
Really were.
Yeah, you're talking about an awful first half.
13 points.
13 points.
31-13 at the half.
You said about Carolina looking just so much more athletic than San Diego State.
Mm-hmm.
Clemson looked the same way against McNeese.
Yeah.
It looked like they were just so much quicker and more athletic. And I don't really believe that, but it sure looked like it, didn't it, Mike?
It did.
That McNeese was quicker?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just.
Well, Clemson's not an athletic team. To me, they're more of an old school team.
They are
big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are.
That's right.
And we're seeing more and more of these kind of upsets too. I mean, McNeese State. Ironically, their coach is leaving and going to NC State, and will face Clemson.
In the league.
Yeah. I'm guessing they play at least once a year. Don't everybody?
Oh,
play?
yeah, you play at least once. You play at least once.
But you talk about players hopping. There's one coach. I read this in USA Today. In the course of one calendar year, he's going to his third school. Darren DeVries.
Yeah, the coach of West
Coached at
Virginia.
Drake last year. Took them to the NCAA tournament. West Virginia scooped him up. And he said, at his press conference, he said, "This seems like a place that I could stay for a long, long time." And then just recently, now he's on to Indiana, but all in the course of a calendar year.
You're right.
Mike can't stand stuff like that.
Well, I'm just saying, can you believe anything a coach says
Well,
when he has a press
all
conference?
I want to know is, what did he make here versus what he's going to make
I'm sure
here?
he's making more money. He's going to a super conference, a blue blood program. I get it, but let's just don't believe anything they ever say. I mean, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right.
I know what you're saying, though, Mike.
They have to say
you
it
feel like a guy ought
to win the players over.
Those opportunities don't come along, maybe, Indiana.
I get
But
it.
you're talking about one less than a year at West Virginia.
Yeah.
I mean, the move.
That's all I'm saying.
The move from Drake to West Virginia was a step up.
A step
you go into
up.
a power conference,
Yeah.
and now in
Well, when he got to West Virginia, he probably never thought it would happen that fast where he'd be offered the Indiana job a year later.
I doubt if he did.
Okay, Ned, you're telling me something that I already know. I know. I've seen this everywhere. Quad 1 wins weren't the end all, just part of the formula. Well, tell me what good part they were good at in the formula. I mean, I thought they were a better team than the formula, and I thought they were a better team than the quad wins they got. You know, that they only had one. I thought they were better. It's like I said, like I told Lenny, the eye test, they're a good enough team to get in the tournament.
I heard something the other day, and I heard a lot of arguments about quad 1. Some of them I thought that's ridiculous. But there was one guy that made one statement about quad. It was a call-in, and I thought it made a lot of sense. He said the quad 1 win system, the quad system, period, was flawed. And here's what he said. And I thought, well, you still need to win a couple of those. But he said this. He said that a quad win was 1 to 51. I think it goes farther than that myself, depending on where you play on the road.
Yeah.
But this guy said 1 he was answering to the guy on the talk show. He said 1 to 51. That's a quad 1 win. And he said, and that guy answered yes. He said, well, he said Carolina, the quad 1 win games they played, and he went off and named. He said most of their quad 1 losses were to outstanding quad 1 teams. He said, whereas somebody gets a win, it's a quad 45 or a quad 50, it goes as a quad 1 win, but there's no comparison. I thought, well, that's a legitimate argument. That was the only one I heard. It was like he said, they played Duke 3 times. They played Florida. They played Kansas,
Alabama.
They played Alabama, they played Auburn, they played Michigan State.
Yeah, they played a heck of a
They did.
He's
it's
right.
a tough schedule.
Those are quad 1 wins, and all of those, with the exception of Kansas, are in the top 10. Or have been in the top 10.
All I got to say is, whoo, speaking of Kansas.
Yeah.
Ow.
I want you to answer this because I'm not sure. Ned also says that Ned says, also got to believe this was the first time a school AD was also the chairman. I thought it was always a school AD.
That's not the first time a school.
No.
That's the first time that when the team was on the bubble like that.
Yeah,
right.
Had that controversy.
Who was the athletic director at Duke?
Yeah, he did it.
When
Butters.
The guy, Tom Butters, and then even the guy that's, his son coaches at Georgia, White.
Yeah, White.
He was on the, so it's not the first time the AD. That's pretty regular, but it's probably the first time where his team was on the bubble.
Wasn't it one time? Wasn't it NC State was on the football committee?
Yeah. Well, you don't have to worry about that because they're not going.
And that's on the
they're not getting in.
And that's on a rotation, I think. Like you're on the.
But wasn't he was on it when Florida State got left out of the playoff?
Yeah, you know why? He probably heard Florida State was thinking about leaving the conference.
Who you're talking about?
Yeah, Boo Corrigan. Ain't that right? He heard Florida State might leave the conference. He said, we're not putting them in. Let's see. Ned says, I'm not defending UNC. They've been breaking my heart since Dick Gruber wore number 13 back in the 60s.
Wow, that's a long time ago.
He said,
Greensboro City Councilman.
You can cheer for them, but never trust them. He said, I typed was not. But anyway, there was something else I was going to say about.
Yeah, but I mean, who's been better over the last 60 years than Carolina?
Nobody.
As good as anybody.
Nobody. Yeah.
I mean, I'm a Carolina fan, and I'm the eye test, but it just the only thing is the optics didn't look good.
Everybody's gonna break your heart.
Oh yeah.
More than they.
True.
Excite you in the NCAA tournament because more often than not you're going to get beat.
That's right.
All I want to say is,
but Carolina's won their share of titles.
If this shoe was on the other foot, the Carolina fans would have been going bananas that Duke got in.
Yep.
And and we'd know that more. No, I'm not saying I'm just saying it would have been worse because there's more Carolina fans than there are Duke fans.
To me, I didn't care one way or the other.
I didn't either. I didn't.
I kind of liked that they got in because that gives me another
reason to
interest.
Watch.
Yeah,
it gives you another interest.
Yeah.
And I did read this
because if that game that first 4 game was San Diego State and West Virginia, I wouldn't have cared one bit about watching that. But because Carolina was playing, I watched it.
The only thing out of all of it that bothered me. One thing that bothered me, the only thing bothered me was that people saying after they won a game, a play-in game, that they deserve. See, we deserve to be in. That's the only thing.
A play-in game.
So we deserve to be in. You should beat a team like that. You know, it would have been devastating had they lost that game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because then it really would have made.
Truthfully, it would have been
the AD look bad.
Winning, and this is kind of on the other shoe. If they hadn't won, they would have said, "Well, they didn't deserve that. That proves they didn't deserve." And that would have been more of an understanding thing than what we said after we won.
Only thing I want out of all this is I don't know how much the teams understand what it takes to qualify. It needs to be in writing what they're looking for before we ever go through this again. I don't care if you guys back and he's the chairman next year. That don't bother me at all. But let the teams know, you know, there's going to be 6 or 8 teams that are going to say, what did we not do? Right. You know, so let them know before the season starts. This is how it's got. This is the criteria, and it's in this order. They ought to be a point system or something, and then it's never questioned.
It's not.
You know.
Well, what do you guys know? Why they started announcing a number 1 overall seed, and why does that matter?
I think they've always kind of done it quietly, hadn't they? Because they always want the number 1 to play the number 4. They'll match them up with the 4, you know, in the final 4. And the 2 will play the 3.
And I guess,
but it hadn't been publicized a lot.
And they claim that they try to balance it all the way through, but that's not.
And it gets you closest to home, right?
Yeah,
as part of it.
That's
to wherever the 4 regionals are, it gets you.
Well,
you'll be closest to home.
Maybe
what they can do now with that too is in the first 2 rounds, they can put you right at home, but you might have to go to another in the next week. You might go out west. It's like Duke and Florida. We're both in.
Yeah, you know what?
Raleigh, but
that would have been a good ticket to have because you could have went down there and saw Duke play their game. You could have saw Florida play.
Yeah, you could.
Tomorrow would be the one.
There was another powerhouse. Who was the other one that was? There's somebody else that was real good in that
Raleigh thing.
Well, we know Baylor was in it.
Baylor was there.
I tell you what, Baylor's freshman.
Well, who does
it?
Who does Florida play? That would be whoever the other.
UConn.
Yeah, that would be. I mean,
you see Duke, UConn.
You can see Oklahoma, UConn.
Yeah. I mean, they couldn't have been on.
Well, tomorrow would be the ticket. Duke and Baylor, and then Florida and UConn.
And I can remember going.
You can see both of those games.
When the early first 2 rounds were in Charlotte, I can remember 2 times going. Duke and Carolina were both there.
Yeah.
And then, but then after that, that first round, they try to get you as close to closest to home as you can, but you can't play on your home court. I think that's why Kentucky could not play
in Rupp.
Yeah.
Lindy, do you remember, it's been a long time, I think back late 70s, Duke and Carolina both played in Raleigh and they both got beat.
St. John and
they called it Black
Penn.
Friday or Blue
and Penn,
Sunday.
Pennsylvania.
Penn beat Carolina and St. John's beat Duke.
And Duke had the G-man, Jaminski.
Well, I just thought when they announced that number 1 overall seed, I thought it was going to be Duke. I didn't see why Auburn got it, and I still don't think it matters at all.
No, it doesn't matter.
But Auburn lost 3 out of their last 4 games entering the tournament. They didn't win. They didn't even make the finals of their conference tournament.
Yeah,
and Duke did, and entered the tournament on a 12-game winning streak.
I've heard this before too, Brett. That the committees will say when they come out now whether they're bluffing or what. Say,
doesn't winning matter?
We already had our top 4 seeds set before the weekend tournaments start.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you believe that or not.
I don't.
I want to read you guys a couple.
Because if Florida hadn't won that conference tournament, I don't think they'd have been a 1 seed. Right. If they had lost, I think whoever beat them would have been the other one. But Florida's playing better than anybody.
Read you guys a couple comments from our folks that listen. Ned says if 2 number 1s meet in the finals, maybe it allows the overall 1 to get to wear the white uniform. Well, I mean, they will. I mean but I don't know how many teams that's a big deal to wear the white.
And I think they are seeded like Auburn, Duke, Houston, Florida. I think is the order.
I think it is. And then Richard says, I like this one here. I read it before. He said they're probably good enough to get in. He's talking about Carolina. Probably good enough to get in. But what bothers me is Bubba got $100,000 bonus for them getting in. Did he share it with the committee?
True.
Don't need ADs picking or don't need the AD's picking, or you need to forfeit your money if owed bonus if you choose to be on the committee. Yeah.
Well, I think the committee too. Now I might be, but in the past you serve on it for like.
Well, the school
4
got
years,
that though. Actually, it wasn't actually Bubba. The school got
and
it.
you move up to where you'll be. I think he goes off because he was the chairman, and then somebody that's maybe the guy that was out there beside him, maybe he moves up to. But there's a pecking order of.
Yeah.
But or used to be.
Okay, Jason disagrees with what you guys said earlier. He says athletic directors always make the selection committee, make up the select. Well, okay, maybe he's not disagreeing. We said they're not always the chairman.
Yeah.
Is that right?
True.
Okay. The criteria used were Ken Palm ranking, Bart Tovik ranking. I'm already lost. What in the are
what's
these?
the NET ranking? NET.
The Bart Tovik ranking, the WAB wins above bubble, net ranking, and quad 1 wins. Well, no wonder nobody understands all this stuff. No wonder there's arguments whenever it comes down to
sounds more
the
complicated
end.
than the old BCS system. Remember that one?
Yes.
Which was totally based on computer.
The BS system.
The BS system.
Carolina was ranked first in all of the categories. Bubba Cunningham's rankings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carolina was number 1 in the Bubba Cunningham quad 1 wins. No, I'm just kidding. Carolina was ranked first in the categories amongst the bubble teams, except for quad 1 wins.
Well, I know there were 36 in either net or Ken Palm.
Yeah, they had the highest.
Here's the whole deal about all that. No matter who got in that spot, there'd be
controversial.
Yes, there'd be arguments against it.
The last team in is always going to be. I got to ask Lenny, though, as a Carolina fan. Lenny, would you analyze Hubert's roster construction this season? Man, it seemed like glaringly they didn't have any bigs.
You've heard me say this probably before. No big man.
Yeah.
And Carolina's always had big men, and my thinking is if you are – I know in the era of transfer portal, NIL, if you're a blue blood, then you need to act like a blue blood.
Yeah, and get them.
I don't like the process of paying guys to play, but that's the rules.
Yep.
So if you want to be a blue blood and you want to continue to be a blue blood, you've got to buy into the system.
One of the shows I was watching yesterday, I don't know if it was Barkley and his crew or who it was, but they were talking about how the ACC was so down because they were the weakest as far as paying money.
That's right.
NIL and getting players to come, and it's going to stay that way unless they open up.
That and the
got to open the wallet.
Mass exodus of great coaches.
And I'm Mike. I guess I'm still kind of throwing a little bit of rocks.
Oh,
but I'm still not 100% convinced. The right coach is there. I like Hubert. He's a Carolina man, but all I said yesterday is, well, now it's his team because all the players there now are his.
Yeah.
And one of my biggest
now that R.J. Davis is
gone. Is he gone?
Well,
I won't believe
I think
it.
He has to now by the rules because you can't get the COVID stuff or anything. Oh, I don't know.
And the other thing I said too, this is something I questioned a good friend of mine. He's a Carolina fan. Name me. Since Hubert's been there, name me, this is his 4th year, name me a big man that he's recruited, that he's brought into the program.
Well, this is the big year right here.
Yeah.
I mean, how can he? This is his big year right here. If he don't bring in the talent this year.
And I'm going to throw out.
I don't know what you do.
I've done a little reading, and I'll tell you the big men. Washington. Washington.
Yeah.
When you have to think that long, that tells a story.
And somebody says, "Who's that?" That's where I'm coming from.
How about the guy they got from Belmont? He completely did nothing, right?
Yeah, Tyson.
Cade Tyson. Yeah.
Rich Yoniker. They get Rich.
How about Bruce Buckley?
They were 3. I think it was Jalen Washington, Will Shaver, and there were one other. And somebody said, Will Shaver? I don't remember. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
Who knows who Will Shaver is?
And where
He's
does
already gone.
Lubin come from? Is he a transfer?
That was the 3rd.
Where'd he come from?
Is he a freshman?
Vanderbilt.
Does
he have more? Does he have more years at Carolina?
Say what?
Is he finished or does he have more?
He's got one more year.
And what about Withers?
Withers graduates.
He's done.
Jalen Withers.
He's the one got hurt.
Yes.
Yeah.
One stepped in the lane against Duke.
Is that the same guy? real
and
quick,
he just like the rest of them. I thought he was just inconsistent.
And
he could look great sometimes.
He lit it up against San Diego.
I guess I'm comparing him to Roy, but Roy's last 2 years he had 3 big men, big time big men.
Lenny, when's the last time they went without a big man?
True.
Yeah. That was better than everybody else's.
Let me name those 3 big men: Baycott, Walker Kessler, Dayron Sharp. Those 3 came in a 2-year. In a span of 2 years, Hubert Davis has had 4 years of recruiting, and Jalen Washington, and Will Shaver, and Lubin are his big men. And I really would make Lubin more of a.
He's like 6'8",
anyway.
isn't he? Yeah.
I don't even really.
He's not a center.
Of a big man. So, it's his team now.
But he played really well. I thought.
Now he has a big time recruit coming in. When we'll see. This is maybe his first great big man potentially. But it's taken 4 years for that to happen.
Well, now what's going to happen in 25-26 when it becomes revenue sharing, and you got that cap of just over $20 million to spend on players? Wonder. I mean, we don't know what impact that will have yet.
Right.
We're not thinking next year, Mike.
I know.
and Mike, the other argument I said yesterday too. When I said about Carolina. If you're a blue blood, you need to act like a blue blood. If we can allow the football team to have $20 million to build their football team, then we can do that to keep the basketball team where they're at.
And you would think basketball would come first, wouldn't you? I mean, at Carolina, you would think basketball would come first.
Well, is there a split in the average Carolina fan's mind? You got the football thing with Belichick coming in. Are you willing for basketball to take a back seat to that?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Because I'm like, money-wise, and I guess that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Money-wise, the football team needs to be good.
Yeah.
But basketball's always been king at that place. And
that's right.
And that can benefit your football team if you want to be a
What you as a Carolina fan, what do you think the peak would be for the football program? Because I don't think they can win a national title.
Get in the playoff
but I
system.
think they can get in.
Get in the playoff system.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too. I want to read you a couple things before we go back to Brett's
If
lyrics.
TCU got in the playoffs.
Sorry, it was actually $67,000, and it did go to him, not the school. That comes from Richard. That surprises me that the AD gets that bonus for making it, and not. I don't know. Not the school. Well, maybe that bonus is
Hubert
paid.
Got a perk out of it too.
I guess maybe that bonus is paid by the school. Is that or is it
that's
paid
through the school? Yes.
Okay.
That's his bonus
from
the school.
But the NCAA, you get money from the NCAA by making the tournament, the school, the athletic program, right?
Yes. That was just a personal perk that was put in his contract. If they make the school, the AD gets a bump. Hubert did too.
I'll have to ask Scott Cloninger and Butch Park if it works that way in high school. Did they get their $67,000 yet? Heard a podcast. This comes from Ned. Heard a podcast say that UNC got outbid on 2 big men due to lack of dollars.
The boy went to Brigham Young's one of them.
Is that right?
AJ
DeBansta, or however you say it.
But I had read the Wilson kid, Caleb Wilson, the week before he committed to Carolina. They kept saying Kentucky was in the hunt, and then one time they thought he was going to Kentucky, but then in that last week all they said was he's going to Carolina because the money's so much better. So I think they found, I heard as much as possibly $4 million, and I don't like that, but it is what it is now.
I'm shocked to hear that BYU outbid Carolina for a player.
Here we are with one more. Jason says, like Lenny said, chairman position on the committee is rotated on a year-by-year basis. Bubba Cunningham was the vice chair last year. The vice chair this year will be the chair next year. And we don't know who that is. Do we know who that is?
Something. The guy was sitting beside him on Sunday but I don't know where he's from.
Let's hear Brett's lyrics one more time. Mike, get yours ready because you're going to do yours as soon as Brett gives us his, because we got to try and figure his out.
The taxman's taken all my dough and left me in my stately home.
And we got no guesses.
Lazin on a
sunny afternoon.
That's it.
The Kinks.
Oh, Kinks. Not damn. That's right. Now that you mentioned,
I do know. I can hear it now.
I can hear it now in my head too. Okay, you want mine?
Yes. Come on, Mike.
Okay.
I'm not looking.
It's
Mike.
commercial
Don't
time.
look.
I done
You had
turned
all
my
that
back.
time to get them ready. Now he's putting his glasses on. Oh, my gosh.
Well, I dreamed I saw the knights in armor coming.
We will take a time out. Back in a moment.
The Get Out and Ride sales event is under.
Roads and Bill Oil Company in Lincoln has
Buying a Bobcat is now easier than ever at West End Sales in Vale. Now get 0% APR financing. That means low monthly payments. Or you can get $1,200 instant rebates on selected models. Now is the time to buy. Like we said, it's easier than ever. Again, get 0% APR financing or get $1,200 instant rebate on selected Bobcat models at West End Sales at the Highway 1827 West intersection in Vale. Online at westendsales.com and like them on Facebook too.
This is Creighton Kell with Kell Insurance. We have been helping people for over 25 years with all their Medicare needs. We represent the same national and local companies as the insurance agencies you see on TV. And you know what? We can sit down with you one-on-one and help you find the right plan just for you.
Kell Insurance is located beside the Cultural Center and behind Gillum Realty in downtown Lincolnton. 107 North Cedar Street. Call 704-732-4646 and follow them on Facebook. Kell Insurance.
Look who just flew into town. Wild Birds Unlimited has expanded their nature shop, the latest in beautiful Denver, North Carolina. You'll want to take the short drive from Lincolnton for all your seeds and feeders, hobby guides, gift cards, and more. Philip and Renee look forward to seeing you soon and tell them that WLON sent you. Wild Birds Unlimited, now serving Lincoln and Catawba counties. Wild Birds Unlimited.
At Scooters Coffee, we like to think of ourselves as day makers. A quick stop at Scooters can mean a fresh start to the morning, a midday break, or an afternoon reward to a long, busy day. Scooters Coffee has hot drinks, cold drinks, protein shakes, smoothies, and don't forget their great selection of food items. And Scooters reminds you to have an amazing day with a sticker on every item. Stop by 689 North Highway 16, Denver today. Scooters Coffee, serving smiles every day.
Welcome back. If I remember correctly, we got Brett's lyrics, the Kinks.
Yep.
Mike's lyrics one more time were because I don't see.
Okay. I'll give you two lines.
I do see one guess, and they're just naming the artist. He says, I know it's a blank, blank song.
Well, I dreamed I saw the knights in armor coming, saying something about a queen.
Yeah. Now that he said this, I think I know the song.
Okay.
Because now that he's told me the artist, because
it's probably
I think I can get
the most trippy lyrics.
You know who it is?
This
Not
singer,
yet.
Oh,
this singer is.
Well, I won't say anything then.
This singer's probably ever done.
Butch says how much?
How much?
I don't know.
11. That's what's his name? Fritz. Fritzy's. You don't remember that? Never mind.
Tell me. I want to know now. 11.
Dan asked a question one day, and he wasn't paying any attention at all. And that was his response.
Answer was 11.
And he wasn't looking for a number.
11. I like it. Hey, sometimes you just got to make it work, right? Or hope it works. Sometimes you hope it works. Butch says how much. Maybe Butch meant how many and is talking about breakfast.
How many?
Yep, I'm not sure if that's the case or not. Butch, we're feeling for you this morning, praying for you with the loss of your brother.
Yeah.
This week. Also,
sympathies.
Told you guys George Foreman passed away.
I just heard about this last night.
Yeah,
late.
well, I think it happened. Last night, or it wasn't. At least it wasn't announced until last night. Ned says Mike's is a blank blank song. Don't know the title. Had nothing on Brett's. Let's see. I think we've had the Kinks a couple times here, haven't we, in the last month, being in there. Jason says, now for Carolina basketball program hasn't lived up to the standard since 2018-19 season with Kobe White, Cam Johnson,
right,
and Luke May. Since 2020, Carolina has only gone past the first weekend of the tournament twice, in 22 and 24.
Yep.
Well, that's not that long of a stretch. I know. You know, I mean, with Carolina and Duke, it's Final Four.
Final Four bust.
This is something they told yesterday that
season.
kind of amazed me. They haven't. An SEC team has put them out the last 4 times, I believe it said. And that would be Mississippi, Alabama last year.
Yeah, Alabama last year.
Well, and I take that back. They hadn't beat a SEC team. They hadn't beat a SEC team because they did lose to Kansas. So, but
okay, what's the SEC's record in this tournament?
8-6.
8-6. I thought that they lost their share of games too, but now when
Yeah,
you
when
got
you get-
that
when you
many,
get 14 in,
you're going to lose some.
You're going to lose some.
Yeah.
Don Revel says Keith Gill is the vice chair of the selection committee, and
Keith
he is
Gill.
the Sun Belt Conference commissioner.
Yeah.
Ken to Johnny Gill.
So I guess if he's next, to
He'll
take
be
Bubba
next.
Cunningham's spot, then he's not an
I
athletic
think
director.
Bubba
He's a
probably-
conference commissioner.
He probably goes off because he's been on there for 3 or 4 years.
Now this says
Yeah, he probably does go.
Yeah.
This says since the NCAA tournament expanded in 1975, this is the first time that there aren't multiple ACC teams playing in the second round.
Yeah.
Or in the
I saw that.
round of 32.
Since the 70s, right?
Yeah, since 75.
Yeah.
Since it went to 32 teams in 75, they've had at least 2 teams playing in the round of 32 every year until this year.
So now the power conferences, is the ACC the worst in football and basketball?
Yeah, I think they're
This year it is.
Are they trying to sew it up and be the worst in both?
Yep.
I mean, that's I don't get it. Richard Howe also says that Mike's song is a song, and he's correct on that.
Right.
I think, because I'm going
But
with
you know,
him.
I will
him
give
and
you
Ed Bow.
another hint. The title of the song is not in the lyrics of the song.
Butch says, thank you, men. I thought you said something about me and Scott Cloninger. Oh, yeah, I did. Me and Scott Cloninger getting Bubba Cunningham money. I did. And he said, how much? And that's why he said how much. So, interesting there. Yeah, I didn't know about those bonuses, but you know what I mean. Do they? Yeah, they deserve the bonuses. That's their job. If your teams, how much control do you have over that though? You know, I mean, you better hire the right coaches.
Right.
You know, or you're not going to be getting that bonus.
Well, and I'm kind of like he's the athletic director. I'm a Carolina fan, David, but I'm not a big Bubba Cunningham fan because you call Mac Brown on the phone from Hawaii and tell him you fired.
Oh, really?
That's classic.
See, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I didn't
It's
know that.
not a classy move.
I got one question about him. Is he kin to Billy?
Billy
No,
Cunningham.
not that I know
Okay.
of. In fact, he came
How about Randall?
He came from
Might be.
like Midwest. He might be a Carolina graduate. I don't know, but he was athletic director at like Tulsa.
Yeah.
Or somewhere before.
He was at Tulsa. one
Okay,
time.
I didn't realize that. I want you guys to tell me one thing. Who you have? If you did a bracket, did you do a bracket, Lenny?
Yep.
Who you got in the finals?
I'm trying to remember now. I know I got Florida and Duke in the finals.
Yeah, I do too, in one of mine.
In one of mine, people that do multiple term brackets cannot win. I don't consider them in winning.
I don't think.
He's a Notre Dame
Florida,
graduate.
Duke.
Is he? Brett says he's a Notre Dame graduate.
Cunningham.
He played golf at Notre Dame.
Okay.
He probably still does.
Yeah.
Anywhere he wants. Pinehurst. So you've got Duke. I mean, you got Duke in Florida.
Duke.
You got Duke in Florida. Brett's got
I did multiple brackets.
Well, give me.
I got Duke winning one and Florida winning one.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Wow.
Duke won
I
and
didn't do
Florida
one.
won.
Guess who I've got in my finals?
I got Florida winning it, and that probably is anti-Duke more than
Yeah.
truthfully.
No, it's not.
I'll be honest.
No, it's not, because I have Duke and Florida in my finals, and I have Florida winning it.
Yeah.
No team looked better and played stronger competition
Nope.
down the stretch. You know what I mean? I mean, Duke looks just as good, but I don't think they played the schedule that. But I will say this too, honestly, and I didn't think the SEC looked as good as I expected them to look.
They did
in the first round. Even with the wins, some of the wins were Alabama could not pull away from who was it? They
Alabama State. What? No.
No, that was Auburn play Alabama State. It was Alabama, and it was a
Robert
mid-major.
Morris.
Robert Morris,
Morris,
yeah.
yeah.
Working hard for his.
Yeah, my two title games, I had
All by himself.
Duke beating Michigan State in one, and Florida beating Houston in the other one. But after seeing Michigan State a little bit last night, I don't know if they're capable of getting that far.
Sometimes you get through your bad game and you play good. You know,
that's true.
You play, most teams are going to have one that they probably should have lost.
Yeah,
you know,
gonna have.
I'm still worried about UConn. I don't know if you guys are or not, but
it's possible.
Yeah,
all they're going to do now is build momentum with every win they get.
That's right.
Not yet.
I'm gonna say
just because that's so far down the road for Duke. I'd be happy for them to play UConn because
finals.
Because that would be, I think it would be.
They'd have to knock Florida out, right?
Yeah, that wouldn't be to the finals.
Anybody that watched basketball last weekend, you know, like I said, Florida. I mean, they just look like a machine.
Brett, I'm kind of like what
really
you said about UConn. UConn is a team you do not want to play.
Nope.
In one game, but I can't see them putting six games together. That's the thing that.
They don't look as good defensively.
But they got the right coach in place.
But I bet if they beat Florida tomorrow, everybody will start talking about them being one of the favorites to win it all.
That'll be
because if they can beat Florida, they can win their next four.
Is that who they have?
Yeah, UConn and Florida tomorrow.
Wow,
tomorrow in Raleigh.
Yeah, man, second round.
So to me, that's two of the teams that could legitimately be in the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
Second rounds are
One's
tough.
going to be gone.
They are.
They are.
Duke's got Baylor. Auburn plays Creighton. Houston plays Gonzaga. All 4 1 seeds could lose if they don't play well.
And this
That's
is
right.
me. Maybe I'm thinking, but you want to be a number 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
But here's what normally happens when you get in that. You're going to get the 8 and 9 team.
Yeah.
And you get if you're depending on who's the 8 and 9 you get, you're going to get a team that was disappointing during the year, but very capable of beating you.
Yeah.
And that's what you're seeing with UConn. And there was another 8-9 somewhere in the back, but it seemed like there was another 8-9 that I thought I would not want to have to play them in my second game.
You got those pulled up, Brett?
I think they're all four of them are good. Auburn and Creighton play today.
Did you know that Creighton played?
The big man from Creighton has won.
Good.
He won Big East Defensive Player of the Year 4 straight years.
Really?
Yeah, that big man.
Ryan Kalkbrenner.
They look good. They look good. Was it yesterday or the day
Who does
before?
Alabama play,
when they
Brett?
beat
Alabama's
Who does
Louisville.
Houston play?
Houston plays Gonzaga.
Yeah,
Gonzaga just destroyed Georgia.
That's a dangerous 8-9.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You never know about Gonzaga. Gonzaga's back in that position now that they're used to being in, where they're the underdog.
Yeah.
And
Duke plays Baylor. Baylor might be the weakest of the 4 that the 1 seeds are playing, but they scare me.
They're still good.
They got really good guards.
They're very athletic.
And then that O'Meara that transferred from Miami, Duke has always had trouble with him.
That guy's a beast on the interior, on the rebounds, getting back on.
And I'll kind of throw something out at you about. They said, I guess I'm coming back to Carolina again. But the year they went to the championship game when they lost to Kansas,
they were an 8.
They were
8 or 9.
They were 9.
Yeah.
And they played Baylor on a Saturday, the next game.
Yep.
And Baylor was a number 1 seed. Just like that was you say that's still Carolina, and they've underachieved this year. But I don't want to have to play them. And sure enough, Carolina beat Baylor. You know.
Yeah.
Just I was telling Sarah Caden, I said, really being the last 4 in was really a good thing for Carolina because if by getting the last one in, you had to play extra game, but you wasn't going to see the number 1 seed come second round. They saw a 6 seed. They went from 11 playing in to being 11. But that 8-9 you want to avoid both sides. If you're 1, you don't want to play them, and if you're 8 and 9, you say, man, God, we're going to get the number 1 right out of the gate. But
anybody that wins on Thursday and Friday, you're going to see some that you're surprised by. Yeah. Saturday and Sunday, not. I think anybody that wins on Saturday and Sunday, if UConn beats Florida, I'm not going to be shocked. If Baylor beats Duke, I'm not going to be shocked.
Nope.
These teams are all okay, and we're naming teams. They're playing teams that have won national championship recently.
And here's a potentially great game this afternoon: St. John's and Arkansas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
of course, the coaching matchup.
Coaching matchup of the tournament. Yeah. You think they do stuff like that on purpose?
Nah.
I think it.
They had Bill Self, Calipari.
Yeah. The only thing they hadn't done this year is they didn't put Duke playing Michigan State. Could they only play Michigan State in the finals? Because they just about always.
It would be in the
finals.
I think they met 6 times. I think Duke and Michigan State have met 6 times in the NCAA tournament.
So what's the bad blood between Pitino and Calipari?
Didn't know there was any.
Is there bad blood? I don't know.
Well, I don't
they're
know.
part of separate, opposite mob families.
Families.
They're kind of alike.
They got the Pitino,
but other than that, I like both of them. I like both of them. I hope that game is on when another one I want to see is not.
Did they ever oppose each other? Were they both in the Big East?
It's a standalone game.
I think it stands alone, doesn't it, Brad? Like it's the second game this afternoon.
The first two games today are standalone games, and they're McNeese State and Purdue, and then Arkansas.
They always do that, and then they have them playing after midnight.
Yeah.
I mean, just like last night. I couldn't handle it. I fell asleep before they ended. So, what would you say, Mike?
Did Calipari and Pitino, were they ever opposed to each other in the same conference? Were they both in the Big East?
No, but they played each other from Louisville against
Kentucky.
Rivalry.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's where it is.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. I don't know how many times they met in that, but
that should be. Of course, Calipari took UMass to the Final Four.
Yeah, he's never been in the Big East, has he? Cal,
no.
He was UMass and then Memphis.
UMass Atlantic 10 or something. Then weren't they?
Yeah, and
he went
Pitino
UMass,
took
Memphis,
Providence.
Kentucky.
Yeah, Pitino took
Providence to the Final Four.
Yeah, that's
Providence,
amazing.
Memphis, Providence, Louisville.
Yeah,
Iona. We didn't take Iona to the Final Four, but
no.
Yeah, I think he's been in the tournament with 6 different schools.
Yeah.
Mike, read your lyrics again.
Okay. Well, I dreamed I saw the knights in armor coming, saying something about a queen. There were peasants singing and drummers drumming, and the archer split the tree.
Yep, and we do have some people that have said that it's a Neil Young song.
Yeah, Neil Young. I just got
correct.
that.
It's a Neil Young song. Now, don't say.
Hold on a second.
While you're thinking, we're not going to say it. We're going to take some guesses at the name of the song.
I can hear it in my
head. Is
it
one
now.
word?
No.
Okay, that's all you need to say. Don't say anything else.
Yeah, I got it now. It's 4 words.
It's 4 words.
Jason says, "Are Duke fans worried about the Jeremy Roach revenge game?" I'm worried about the game. I'm not necessarily worried about Jeremy Roach.
He's been less and less of a factor for Baylor as the season's progressed.
As long as he plays like he did while he was at Duke, we're in good hands.
I think that freshman point guard has been so good for him.
Yeah, he's the
minutes
one.
Away from him. He's
the guy.
They start 2 freshman guards, and they're both really good. But VJ Edgecombe is he's going
to be a lottery pick.
Monty sends me a picture here of us, I do believe, and it's him watching us on his computer. And I don't know if he's got vodka and orange juice there in that Carolina cup for breakfast, or if it's just straight vodka. Straight orange juice. I'll let Brett see
he don't
the picture I'm
that
talking
bottle.
about.
He just decided to go to orange juice, probably.
He had finished the bottle off last night. Okay, here's a question. Here's a poll question for the day. Who had the worst season? University of North Carolina or Kansas? I mean,
they both were.
I don't think they had bad seasons, but who had the worst?
Kansas was preseason number
one.
one.
That has to be worse.
It's got to be worse.
It says
it's like Carolina last. What year was it? Carolina was preseason number one, and they didn't even make
the year after they
last.
Kansas
didn't even.
Wasn't it last year?
Year before last.
Yeah.
Wasn't it when they preseason number one? Didn't even.
That's right. That's right. Last year they did.
Tournament.
They were 1 seed last year, weren't they?
Yeah, they were.
They had a good year last year.
Yeah.
Kansas. This was their second time being preseason number one and not making it out of the first round. They're the only program to ever do it, and they've done it twice.
All right.
One thing I'm happy about, we won't have to see Hunter Dickinson.
How many national championships has Self won at Kansas? 2? Just one?
Two.
He's won two.
Okay,
Beat Memphis and beat
all right.
Carolina.
Does he get a free pass and goes out on his own terms?
I think so.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I don't think.
I agree, but I mean,
and they're going to reload, and they'll be right back. They'll be right back top 5 next year.
Okay.
Right now,
I'm just saying it's not going really good for them right now. The moment this season that caught my eye of college basketball, period, is whenever I flipping channels and I run across Kansas playing BYU, and I looked and it was a 40-point game, and just my mind automatically thought Kansas is killing them. That's what I thought, and it took me looking again because I saw BYU score about 6 buckets in a row, and I thought, this BYU up on Kansas.
Yeah.
I mean, Kansas don't get beat like that.
That's right.
I mean, a 40-point game, I think they wound up losing by close to 40.
They owned that conference until Houston came in.
Houston's come in.
Is that what it is?
It's kind of changing of the guard.
And now that's Houston's conference.
Yeah.
Well, Kelvin Sampson.
Yeah, like him or hate him.
Okay, for the stuff he got in trouble for in the past, I'm guessing is all okay to do now.
Oh, yeah, whatever he did is.
And I don't know anybody that hates him anyway.
No, I don't either.
I like him.
He's a good man. What can you do today in college sports that would be illegal?
They have rules, but I don't know what they are.
Yeah, what are
Neither do they.
When it comes to money and getting procuring players, I don't.
Well, there's times that you can and times you can't recruit, and times you can't talk to players at other schools.
That's right.
When you're not in the portal, and and a lot of times that now that so many of these kids have agents, that the coach don't have to go that route, but it still goes on. But that's where the rules are that you can't tamper if you're not in the portal, you're not supposed to.
Right.
Yeah, but the portal, I think, eventually is going to go away. I mean, now you got kids saying, "I'm going there, and I don't need the portal. I'm just going." I like Monty's answer here about who had the worst season. He said Hills had the worst season, but Kansas wasn't far behind. I think Kansas had the worst closing, though.
Yeah.
Because Carolina did win a game.
Well, Kansas, early in the year, they beat Duke and Carolina.
Yeah.
Early in the season.
Yep.
What can we attribute their collapse to? I don't know about injuries. I really don't know.
From everything I heard on TV, they didn't play defense this year.
They weren't real deep either. Right. I mean, that's unusual for Kansas.
They lost 13 games. That's a lot for Kansas.
Yeah. That is.
Well, I even said this a couple of weeks ago. The true blue bloods, have really struggled this year, with the exception of Duke.
You're right.
Because Kentucky won last night and looked pretty good.
But that goes in cycles.
Don't they have about 12 losses? 11 or 12 themselves?
UConn has double-figure losses.
Who are the true blue bloods? Duke, Kentucky, North Carolina, Kansas. Is that it?
If you go historical, then you say UCLA and Indiana.
Include them. That's the true old blue blood.
But UCLA and Indiana hadn't been relevant.
How about UConn as a new blue blood?
Yes. I would say yes.
Yeah.
Listen,
6 national
you can
titles.
say right. You can say new blue blood, but my God, they've been good since
'99.
Yeah, I mean that's a long time.
They won 6, isn't that right?
And they were really good throughout the '90s. They didn't win one until '99, but they were good throughout the '90s.
The only difference for them is when they don't win it, they usually don't finish real high.
That's right.
But
that's right.
Some of the other teams don't either. We just saw North Carolina bounce out. Duke's bounced out early in the last couple years.
Yeah.
But I know where they're coming from. When you say Duke, Carolina, Kentucky, Kansas, UCLA, we're talking about going back.
Yeah, UCLA.
We're going back to the 60s.
UCLA can't be in it anymore. Yeah. I mean, they're not a consistent I don't even know if they're a consistent tournament team, much less Final Four. You know,
they did make a Final Four a couple years ago.
They did, yeah.
When Ben Howland was, they made a couple of years.
And in those years where Florida was winning their titles, UCLA was in the Final Four a couple times. Yep. They're still a good program. Oh, yeah. They've been better than Indiana over the last 20 years.
Is Florida's coach old enough to drive?
Who is it?
Golden.
Have y'all seen him?
His name is Todd Golden.
Man, that's a young kid be leading that program and might win a national title. And I can't imagine he's more than
he's got
to be under 30.
Too.
Yeah, there was
and he looks like he's under. It looks like he's under 25.
Yeah,
were dropped. But
he's had some sexual assault allegations.
I remember hearing that. I forgot about it.
Past.
Well, he's still a teenager, so I guess so.
He's got a loaded tank. Yeah,
he's 39.
39.
Wow.
God, he does not look 39. Have you guys seen him?
Prior to Florida, wasn't he, Brett?
I guess I will be seeing him this weekend.
He is not. He does not look 39. Let's see. Jason says Patino Calipari teams did meet in the Final Four in '96.
Oh.
Let's see. He also says I bet Indiana regrets letting Kelvin Sampson go due to excessive phone calls and text messages.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only reason. Excessive phone calls.
That was really part of it. Yeah, phone calls, I think.
Monty wants to know, do you have high school football schedules for 2025? I know a couple, Monty, but here's the deal. Dates haven't been set because the NCHSAA has not put out the dates that the season will start yet. Yeah. But if you're asking about Lincoln, they will open with Maiden. They will play in week 2. They'll play North Lincoln. Then they'll start conference, and I even have the conference schedule somewhere for Lincoln and West Lincoln.
Yeah, that's the best Lincoln can do, I think. I like what they're doing with just their 2 non-conference games.
Mm-hmm. Close in proximity and good rivalry games.
Yeah, there'll be big crowds at both of those.
Both those.
West Lincoln, I can tell you who they're playing the first 2 weeks, and don't think you know who it is the first 2 weeks, because it's not Fred T. Ford. And it's not Cherryville, because Cherryville is in the conference now.
Much to my dismay.
Yeah,
is Bunker Hill one of them?
I'm gonna no.
Okay.
Barnes.
No,
that's
they
a conference
play Barnes
game.
in conference.
Is North Lincoln one of them?
Conference. That's right.
North Lincoln week 1.
Okay.
Lincoln Charter week 2.
Like that
for West Lincoln.
Okay.
Yep.
Like that.
Yep. It took me a minute, but so when Brett said North Lincoln, I remembered Lincoln Charter because it was different.
That series between North Lincoln and West Lincoln has been a doozy.
Yes, it has.
It's been very close.
Yep.
So East Lincoln is only playing North Lincoln in the county, unless they play Lincoln Charter non-conference. Or are they in the conference with? They're not in Lincoln Charter's conference, are they?
Put them in a charter conference.
Yeah. They wanted that. They were in the Lincoln County Conference. They were in the one with North. They were in the one with Maiden and those guys.
They were in the early draft
because they're for it. But they
that'd be a brutal one to start off in.
It would. Yeah. Well, here's the deal. From what I understand, Coach Bias was going to hold off football for a year, but if he holds it off for a year, he's going to have to hold it off for 2 years.
Yeah.
Because of your non-conference contracts, and you're making all your conference teams fiddle their schedule.
Yeah.
So what it's going to be is now they could play in this conference. He's going to go ahead and play varsity football.
Take your lumps
this fall.
That way. Yeah.
Yep. We got to take our final time out.
After the Gold Rush, name of that.
That's
name of that deal.
After the Gold Rush. Thank you, Brett. After the Gold Rush.
Yeah, once he said that a little bit more
Neil
lyrics,
Young.
I was able to.
It's so trippy at the end. He says, "I dreamed I saw the silver spaceships lying in the yellow haze of the sun." I mean, it's a strange song.
Mine are very simple. Before we take our final time out, my lyrics are: I get up in the morning, and it's just another day. Back in a moment.
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Getting the kids to practice on time. Remembering if it's your day to bring snacks. Making it to the game with a clean jersey. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like whether your kid is going to run toward first or third base. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com.
Make 2025 the year you move into your new home from Key Builders of Lincoln. Let Key Builders help you make your dream home a reality and do it this year. Visit them online at keybuildersnc.com and check out their photo galleries. They are a licensed general contractor with over 20 years of building history and experience. Make 2025 the year of your new home. See your dream come true at Key Builders, 1459 North Aspen Street in Lincoln. Like them on Facebook too.
For where two or three have gathered together in my name, I am there in their midst. Matthew 18:20. You are invited to gather with us at Rhine Heights Methodist Church, located at 520 Madison Street, just up from Betty Ross Park. Sunday school meets at 10, and worship follows at 11 every Sunday. Follow us on Facebook for special service announcements. Join us Sunday at Rhine Heights Methodist Church.
Buying a Bobcat is now easier than ever at West End Sales in Vail. Now get 0% APR financing. That means low monthly payments. Or you can get $1,200 instant rebates on selected models. Now is the time to buy. Like we said, it's easier than ever. Again, get 0% APR financing or get $1,200 instant rebate on selected Bobcat models at West End Sales at the Highway 1827 West intersection in Vail. Online at westendsales.com and like them on Facebook too.
Welcome back. We need to show, man, how rumors will get the minds flowing. I love it. We've talked about a couple rumors off the air, and we can't mention those on there. I wish we could, but it is always good to hear the rumor mill. You know, my wife will love this one. Women gossip, men just tell rumors. Is that the way it is? Let's see.
I don't know. I love gossip.
Well, I didn't know which category to put you in, Mike. Yeah. The men or the women. Do any of you know how much each round is worth? This comes from Ned. Do each of you know how much each round is worth? I thought each win brought in a specific amount of money to the school. You guys talking about, he's talking about the NCAA tournament here.
Yeah.
But online they say it all goes to the conference for all to share, not the team. And
well, no, that's how it was in football playoffs.
I like that
because Notre Dame was getting a lot of money that those other schools weren't.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, Notre Dame they got 4 times what the next school got, I think. Mm-hmm. They did load up on money there.
And the ACC's always been revenue sharing for many years.
Yep.
And that was some of the arguments that Clemson and Florida State had.
I was watching a couple shows yesterday. One of them was Stephen A's show, but then
RuPaul
saw that one too, and then don't forget We're Out for the Straight Guy. Watched that one. But no, what do you guys think about?
He had it backwards.
The idea, forgetting about football, make that separate, and the Big East and the ACC join up in basketball to help out both leagues. You'd have St. John's versus Carolina.
There's too many teams.
When do we get to the point you don't have conferences and you make your own schedule?
Yeah.
Is that coming? I mean, it's been talked about.
Yeah. I could only see that for football. I don't know about that for basketball.
Yeah. I just wonder how hard it would be. Let me tell you here's your rumor we can talk about. This week, there's been talk that the ACC could merge with, just for basketball.
That's what Mike just said.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I was reading.
What I said.
I was reading. What do you think about it?
And that's what I just said. Too many teams.
I want it.
I do too.
I want it. I'd like to see.
What are you going to do with California Stanford?
I don't know.
What?
I'm sorry.
Put them.
I was reading my messages that I got.
But yeah, it's a fascinating idea when you think about Syracuse.
Yeah.
St. John's, UConn,
already
Carolina,
got Syracuse,
Duke. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would put some of those schools back on the map that have struggled, like Georgetown.
Yeah,
Georgetown. Georgetown hadn't been the same in 20, 30 years.
And for some reason, Virginia's down. It might help them, too.
Oh, speaking of Virginia, you guys heard the new coach?
It's Ryan Odom.
Ryan Odom. Laney slipped me a note earlier. I feel like Ryan Odom to Virginia.
I had said the other day.
That's Dave's son, right?
Friday or Saturday, he'll be the. Well, I'd heard on a talk show, they said Virginia's sitting there. They're not doing anything, so it's a done deal. That their coach is just waiting to be out of the tournament. And I thought, well, it's Ryan Odom. That was.
Yep.
How many teams are in the ACC?
18?
17. Isn't it odd?
17 or 18.
It's an odd number,
17.
isn't it?
Okay, well, either way, that'd put the conference at 27 or 28 teams.
Yeah, it'd be absurd for basketball, you're right, I guess, for the numbers.
But. Well, you play everybody once.
Yeah. How about 20 conference games?
Yeah, you really couldn't play everybody once if you're going to have some.
No.
How many conference games do they play right now?
20.
20?
Mm-hmm.
And you said that would put it at 27?
Well, for that to happen,
I think that
it would have to be there'd have to be a lot of refiguration.
You'd have to lose California.
Would move on somewhere else.
You'd have to lose California
and some other conferences.
Yeah. SMU, Stanford, and California.
I got to give SMU some credit. They played pretty good in both major sports.
Yeah, they were competitive. Absolutely.
I think if something like that would happen, then it would have to be a deal where, and they say they're not interested right now, but the SEC would have to get involved. The Big Ten would have to get involved, where Clemson and Florida State would say, well, and I know it's basketball, but ultimately, if you want them teams to come in, it's almost going to have to involve football.
And don't forget our new football school.
Yeah, I think you'd have to lose some teams.
What if you formed a new conference and you went with North Carolina and Duke? Give me in your guys' heads, what's the next 2 or 3 basketball schools in that conference?
I'd want Louisville.
Louisville is definitely one.
And that's an old Big East.
Yeah.
Big East school.
No.
Yeah, they were in the Big East for a while, weren't they?
Well, they might have been, but not in the Big East of the
right before they came to the ACC.
Days.
They were Big East, and so was
Notre
Dame and Pitt, and
is right when ESPN came out
Virginia
and started.
That was Georgetown.
Yeah, they were.
Syracuse,
Villanova,
St. John's, Providence.
Right.
I say you take 5 of those and 5 of the ACCs, or maybe 6 of each, and that would make a really good basketball conference.
Yeah.
Conferences are eventually going to be separate for basketball and football.
I think that's going to be the ultimate.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think where they messed up really, instead of forming these gigantic super conferences,
the College Football Association.
The top 70 football programs should have just split off and let them play their own.
That's right.
And that would have not destroyed
the geographic alignment.
I'm sitting here thinking about Brett and Notre Dame. All these years, people's hammering Notre Dame for not joining the conference, and eventually, people's going to say they did the right thing. We're going to go.
I know.
We're going to go where we want to go.
We'll do our own schedule.
Notre Dame has done the right thing because they got a TV contract and they getting paid. Yeah. And when they get paid, their money don't split amongst the conference. It's theirs. So,
for the other sports, they're in a conference
and
a power conference.
It's only going to get better, I think, for Notre Dame because they just played in the national championship game. So that's not going to hurt. I can tell you that it's not going to hurt.
Nope.
My lyrics again. I'm going to give them one more time. Did you guys guess? 2 people have got the group correct. 2 people have got the group correct. I get up in the morning and it's just another day. Pack up my belongings. I've got to get away. Sounds like a Southwest air commercial, don't it? Southwest Airlines. Got to get away.
Fly the friendly skies.
That's United, Mike.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Want to get away.
Want to get away, yeah. Want to get away. With a question mark. Want to get away.
Can you give me a decade?
Those are some really good ones. 80s.
80s.
70s, 80s, because I'm not sure. 70s or 80s.
Group, obviously.
Yeah, it's a group. Yep. Great front man in the group. That ought to help you, Mike. Yeah, great front man in that group. Let's see. What is our let me see if I can find the schedule for the day real quick here before we let it go.
I wouldn't be surprised if McNeese wouldn't win again today.
I wouldn't either.
Because they play Purdue and
I
they're
think
big and slow.
Yep.
And McNeese's so quick and
yeah, Purdue did impress me in round one.
I wouldn't be surprised if you know.
Not be surprised.
I think that's the first game today.
I think every game could go either way. Today and tomorrow.
Every game?
Yeah. Now there's a couple 12s against 4s.
Okay, McNeese plays Purdue today at 12:10.
Yeah.
Arkansas taking on St. John. I tell you, Arkansas's they're pretty good.
They're athletic.
Arkansas is pretty good. That one's at 2:40.
Arkansas has great guards.
This is a classic to me. Michigan and Texas A&M. I would not want to bet on that game either way. No, I would not want to bet either way on that particular.
Michigan is big.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got what, 2 7-footers?
But don't you like Buzz Williamson?
Williams.
Yeah,
he's just.
You just don't know about Texas A&M. They're really hot.
Yeah.
Or they're cold. You don't know what you're going to get out of them.
That's true.
When they're good, they're really good. That's
Michigan, I think, can feed off of winning the tournament and just keep.
But I'm kind of like you, Brett. I'm looking here. Duke, Baylor, Oregon, Arizona, BYU, Wisconsin.
The second round now is
Houston, Gonzaga.
All Final Four worthy.
McNeese, Purdue, because Purdue's slow, I think. That helps them. Illinois, Kentucky. St. John's, Arkansas. Florida, UConn.
How did Duke beat Illinois by 40?
They were missing a couple guys.
Okay. I mean, that was an ugly game. I watched some of it, but I know Illinois is better than
I think they had 2 starters out, and they were I think their whole team was battling the flu right around then. There was even question about Duke, whether Duke wanted to go play them or not, because they were scared to get that flu bug from them.
Well, by the same token, I could say Duke's loss to Clemson was because the whole team was sick, including Cooper Flag.
Brett, write these down or something. I want you to take note here. We're all going to do something here. I just thought of Saturday games. Saturday games, all 4 of us.
Saturday.
Give a lock. Who's going to win? Because I've got mine.
The locks?
A lock. Give me a lock. Who's going to win today without a doubt? Who you going to take?
Boy.
You want to go first? You want me to go first? And we can't take the same ones, so you better go first.
I'll go first. Today's games?
Today only. We'll do Sunday in a minute. Who's a lock?
I'm going to say Auburn.
Okay.
Is a lock.
Mike says Auburn is a lock.
I'm going to say Tennessee over UCLA is a lock.
No, just one.
Mike.
Just one. Oh, just one. Gotcha. Okay, I'll go with that one. I'll go with that one.
Yeah.
Who's that one?
What's the first one you said, Mike? Auburn.
Auburn. I'm going to go with Auburn over Creighton.
Yeah, quit naming other ones.
Okay.
I'm going to go next.
Go ahead.
Well, go ahead, Lenny.
No, you take it.
That's the one I was taking. That's what brought it up. I said Tennessee's a lock. They're beating UCLA.
All right.
Now Lenny and Brett can go.
Go ahead, Lenny.
I'm going to take – I don't really want to – I'm going to take Houston over Gonzaga.
And now Brett's getting the – Brett, you get to go first next. And then Lenny. And then me and then Mike. When we get to the – Brett gets to do 2 in a row. But one of them has to be on Sunday.
Yeah.
Well, good, because I wouldn't want.
It's going to be tough
to pick
want another
one of these Saturday games. Yeah, it's hard enough to.
Go ahead and pick
one.
Drake.
Yeah, I don't.
I
don't know who to pick. I'm going to take Texas Tech.
Texas Tech to win over Drake.
3 over
today.
11 makes sense.
Yeah. Who coaches Texas Tech?
I have no idea. Is that Chris Beard?
No, Chris Beard's at Ole Miss.
Yeah,
he's Ole Miss.
He was at Texas Tech though. Okay, okay.
It's not Brent, but it's something McCaslin.
Okay.
All right, now we go to Sunday. Brett, who's your Sunday lock? What day does Duke play? You're not taking Duke for yours?
No.
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either.
Okay, go ahead.
Yep. I'm going to take Florida.
Okay. God, over UConn. He's picking UConn to be a loser, a lock. Yep, Lenny gets to go now. Reverse order. A lot of thinking, a lot of brainstorming going on.
I'm taking Maryland over Colorado State.
Maryland looked good, man.
Yeah,
Maryland looked good in their game yesterday over Colorado State. Now it's my turn, and I saw mine just a few minutes ago. Let me see if I can find it one more time. I'm probably going to blow this like I have my bracket. God, who was it? I just saw a minute ago. It's not Duke, obviously. It's not I'm not going with that game. I'm going to take Alabama.
Darn
over St.
That's
Mary's.
who I was going to go
I'm
with.
going to take Alabama. I think they've got their close game now out of the way, and they'll roll in round two. So,
well, in that case, I'm going to go with the old standby and Tom Izzo, Michigan State over New
I looked
Mexico.
at that one too.
Yeah.
New Mexico's coached by Patino's son.
Yep.
Yeah.
Richard.
Yeah. How about that? So there's we'll see how we do on
How
those.
about Illinois being 1.5 point favorite over Kentucky?
Yeah, I could see that. I can see it. Even though it's a 3 and a 6 seed, that's kind of odd, isn't it? Usually the seeding just
that's the only game today or tomorrow where the lower seed is favored.
When the brackets came out, I thought Kentucky was a little overseeded, I thought. But yesterday they looked good.
As I said, Richard and Ned both got my the artist right on my lyrics. My lyrics for the day. One more time. I get up in the morning and it's just another day. Pack up my belongings. I got to get away. Jump into a taxi, and the time is getting tight. I got to keep on moving. I got a show tonight, and the name of the song is "Moving On" by Bad Company.
Bad Company.
Yeah, "Moving On" by Bad Company.
Okay.
I like it when I heard that one yesterday and thought, hey, that's a good one because Bad Company, I don't know. Are they underrated
I think so.
as a band? I mean, they had a lot of really good songs. Paul Rogers is one of the best lead singers of any group ever.
Here's one I was going to use.
Okay. Oh, boy.
All aboard. Ha, 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 ha.
Sounds like Ozzy.
You got it.
Crazy
Train.
Black
but I
Sabbath.
didn't use it now.
Oh. There's another one that says "All Aboard the Train." Who is that? Marrakesh Express. Who is that? Crosby, Stills, Nash.
Yeah, Crosby, Stills, Nash. Yep.
Yeah, they say "All Aboard" in their song, but that's not the title of it. So
Marrakesh Express.
Yeah, Marrakesh. Where is Marrakesh, Mike? Let's see if I did know
somewhere
that.
in Europe.
Is it Morocco?
I was thinking Morocco.
Morocco. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to make sure Brett's with us on Tuesday night.
Yeah, we need him.
Oh.
We're going to ride him in as.
Who's your Final Four? Everybody here picked Duke and Florida to be. All four of us picked Duke and Florida in the finals. But who was your other two teams? Who were your other two teams?
Yeah, go back to my.
I didn't have Houston.
Yeah, I can't even remember mine. That's how bad it is. I can't even remember who mine
Picked
were.
Auburn, Tennessee, Florida, Duke. I had Florida and Duke.
Yeah, so you had three SEC.
Yeah,
three SECs in the finals. That's, yeah. I mean, we've never seen a conference do what they did, right?
Well, we were talking about they went 8-6.
Yeah,
but they lost 6. But the big guns at the top all won. It was down in the bottom. Those teams were probably as average as some of the other teams that they played.
And there was a few of those teams that could have won too. That played that the games were really tight.
Yeah.
That did lose, and it says a lot about the conferences if you had enough in there to go 8-6.
Right.
Okay, here's my Final Four in one of my brackets.
One of my brackets.
I got Florida defeating Michigan State, Duke defeating Houston, Duke winning it. But then I picked Florida in another bracket.
Yeah, that's like I'm gonna say what Dan Patrick does. He said he can't stand the people that say, "Oh, I got that upset right," and he says, "How many brackets do you do?" And they say 6.
Well, yeah, you're gonna get them.
He said, "Well, I got it right in one of them." Yeah.
So he's a purist.
No,
you just make one bracket.
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah. I used to do multiples too, and some things I still will, especially when it's a contest and they're giving away money or whatever.
Yeah, I've got 2 brackets, and I let Sullivan do one too, and he picked Auburn to win it all.
Okay.
You know, we were talking about the SEC is 8-6. I've sit here and over the years and trashed the Big Ten, but they're 8-0.
Mm.
The first round.
The
Big Ten is 8-0.
Yeah.
On the
Big 12 6-1.
Right.
Big East is 4-2.
You guys carry it for a minute. I'm gonna check this at the door. Okay.
Okay.
Do it.
Well, let's just go through the schedule. I don't think we got that. Got that far yet. Today at 12, McNeese State and Purdue. 2:40, Arkansas St. John's. We talked about that coaching matchup.
Yeah, that's the game.
2 legends.
Yeah, that's 2 legends, 2 Hall of Famers.
Today at 5:15, Michigan and Texas A&M. And then that's where the games start. The games start overlapping. 6:10, Drake, Texas Tech. 7:10, Creighton and Auburn. 7:45, BYU and Wisconsin. 8:40, Gonzaga and Houston, and then tonight at 9:40, UCLA and Tennessee. So that's today's schedule. What's the what game you guys looking forward to the most?
I'm looking forward to Gonzaga Houston. It's going to be an interesting matchup of contrasting styles of play.
Yeah.
Out of just today.
That was just today.
Yeah.
Michigan, Texas A&M.
And I like Arkansas St. John's, I think,
I like Arkansas
the most.
Yeah, because of the coaching matchup. I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, there'll be more eyes on that one, I would guess, than any other. I got down here. It's just funny when you go to ESPN's and you look at the games and stuff like that, and you scroll down, and it says I scrolled too far because one of my matchups down here says Bradley and Dayton. And
it must be an NIT.
Then I realized it went to the NIT. That's exactly what it was.
How many teams turned down the NIT? I heard something like all the big teams turned it down. They didn't have great years, but were named teams. I don't know.
Well, the Indianas did.
Yeah. West Virginia's did. Okay.
And then
Lenny, where's your microphone?
Wake Forest and both Pitt turned down before they even announced that we're not interested.
Okay.
I did hear
How about
that.
Wake?
Wake, and Pitt were two. So we're
Stanford is in it.
Yeah. Stanford, SMU, and Georgia Tech from the ACC, I believe.
What is the
one more chance to see Jalen Blakes?
What's the plus? What's the why so many teams opting out?
I mean, wouldn't that help your underclassmen? But that doesn't mean anything anymore. I realize that because of roster churn. But
yeah, well, when does the portal open?
It opens Monday.
Well, that might be part of it. Coaches have to deal with that.
I think that's the biggest
how many postseason tournaments do we have now other than NCAA? The NIT, is that it?
I think there's
have they gone?
There's 2 more, but I don't know what they're.
Will those eventually go away? I mean,
CBI or something.
They're money makers. Do you ever watch any of them?
I might watch the NIT finals.
I don't watch any of them. I absolutely watch none of them.
Okay.
How do they make money? Because I absolutely watch none.
I don't know how the NIT is.
Do you watch them? Do you watch them?
Mike, I might, depend on who's playing. I might.
There's just something about the Garden.
But it's not even there anymore, is it?
It's not?
I don't know.
I think last year they played at Butler, at Hinkle.
Well,
it would take a special circumstance
year, it was, but I don't even think it's there now.
Well, okay.
If there was a local, like a player I knew playing in it,
yeah,
I would watch that. Or if there was, I mean, I don't know if Stanford's in it. I'm not watching. I don't care if Stanford wins the NIT or not.
Would Duke or North Carolina even go to the NIT?
I don't know if they would now.
I don't know if they would now or not.
No.
I mean, Carolina was very close to having a chance.
And I can remember
that choice.
And I can remember the day when Carolina Duke played in the NIT. You remember that?
There's about 10 years or so ago, Carolina played in it and went to the final, right? Didn't they lose in the championship?
Yeah,
lost to Dayton.
The Flyers, Dan's school.
Yeah, but because of the portal, I can see why a coach of a big name team wouldn't want to play in the NIT. It'd be a bother. It'd be a hindrance.
Yeah, I mean, like Lenny said though, and Mike both, you guys remember the days when the NIT was something, and
and you say if you didn't have the portal, I would say play. Mm-hmm. But you don't know what your roster.
You know what your roster.
You want the young players to get to play, but with the portal now, how do you know whether you even gonna have them?
That's right.
Yeah, and I don't think a couple extra games in a meaningless tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, they've already played 30 games.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
One or two more games.
The NIT might go away. I mean, I could see it happening.
It would be the last one, though. If
If
there is another.
Yeah, I don't even see those the other tournaments listed.
But the thing is, why is it not played in the Garden anymore?
I don't.
I don't know.
Can they not
and
afford
I might
it?
be making it up, but I don't think last year it was played in. I believe it was
because that would be incentive. I mean, if
That's
you
right.
told me,
Yeah.
if you told me I would get to play in Madison Square Garden,
all of it was played there.
Because it's a very old tournament.
More teams might want to go
That's right.
if you give them that.
Yeah,
option.
actually, it's older than the NCAA. It was more at one time. It was more prestigious.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the 2025 NIT semifinals and championship will be played at Hinkle Fieldhouse in Indianapolis.
So they're still trying to keep it in a
I'll be dang.
famous arena.
Yeah.
But not Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, but if you ask these kids playing in NIT, where is Hinkle Fieldhouse?
Nah.
They don't.
They don't know.
They don't know. They know Madison Square Garden.
Yeah,
they don't know.
Right. Well, and the other tournament is called.
One time there was a college basketball
CBI or
invitation.
something like that.
Yeah, but I don't know whether it's
because didn't UNCC get deep in that one time or play the championship of it a couple years ago?
2 years ago, when Florida Atlantic was in the Final Four, they were that same conference they were in. Everybody was playing in the NIT final. Somebody was from that conference, and then I believe Charlotte was playing in that CBI, I believe, but I cannot remember.
I think you're right.
Because I thought, well, that was pretty good for that conference to.
All right, we're about out of time. We appreciate Lenny coming in this morning. Mike,
Yep.
Brett, I'm David. Listen to this. Basketball kicks off again, or tips off, I should say. 12:10 today, McNeese State and Purdue, followed by St. John's, Arkansas. A lot of eyes on that one. We'll see where the teams stand, because when we come back next week, we'll be down to eight. We'll be down to 8 teams when we get them back next week. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Appreciate it. See ya.